If you go to the nearest graveyard, what you're going to have there besides bones, you're going to have a lot of unused potential that could have been used richly to make the world a better place. Larry Covington, I like to identify myself as the youngest of 5 sons born to Edna Virginia Hooper Covington and Johnny Covington. I am presently the pastor of the Ebenezer Church here in Burlington, North Carolina, and I've been here for 28 years and enjoy the work. My life was filled with, I guess, any other young child of my generation, born in poverty there in Danville. But we had an enjoyable life. You know, everybody else was poor, so I didn't know I was poor. We had an enjoyable life, eventful childhood. So a lot of the ministries that I'm involved with at this church come out of pages of my own autobiography. I never forget when they were coming down Patton Street, and this is clear in my mind as a small kid, coming down Patton Street, I was with my mother holding a hand and seeing the police with the billy clubs on the horses and shouting and obscenities and et cetera, and expletives at those that came off of peaceful demonstrations. But she turned and we ended up in the A&P grocery store just as shelter, I guess, to shield me from seeing what was getting ready to go on in terms of people being locked up, taken to jail. And if you go to Danville now and go down Patton Street, the courthouse is still there, the big courthouse is still there, where my mother hid me as a small kid. So seeing that as a young child sort of stuck in my head. And so I became sensitized to the movement, and since being an adult, especially being back here in Alamance County after the George Floyd incident and other things, becoming engaged. You know, I think that a church and a Christian leader should care about what's going on with the people that they pastor, and should be involved in their lives. And whatever affects them affects him or her who's the leader. I try to lead by example. I never ask the congregation to do anything that I will not do. So if we are doing something, if we're feeding the hungry, I'm going to be out there feeding. If we are volunteering in schools, I'm going to be volunteering. I believe that you lead by example. If we are championing a cause of police brutality or whatever, I want to be someone out there as a loudspeaker leading the way. I never forget seeing my father, who was an alcoholic, come past my window when I was in elementary school. And he was inebriated and sort of stumbled and fell. And watching children, my peers, sort of laugh, because it was a close-knit community. We knew each other. I went to Edward A. Gibson School in Danville, Virginia, so we're still there. And that gave me a passion to be involved with trying to get people off addictions. You know, 2 or 3 of my brothers sort of was involved with addictions. So dealing with that experience gave rise and passion and drive to developing ministries and ministering to people who find themselves in the clutch of addiction. We developed what we call the Hope House, which is right beside the church here. And the Hope House came about because of that picture, that if someone was, quote, down on their luck or was displaced or could not pay their rent or what have you, that we would take them in for up to a year in a fully furnished house. And they can save their money and we can help relaunch them. But I never forget something that Robert Schuller said. Inch by inch, life is a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. So if we're helping people cinch an inch along and make them a better person, we're making the world a better place. So we work on the micro level, but also on a larger scale. We try to be a part of boards and commissions, things like that, that will contribute to the betterment of the local community. I want to be known as a servant. I've either been forced to be a servant or I've enjoyed embracing being a servant. And I think life has situated me and built me for service. And so, and that's where I get my greatest joy. And as I look back over my life, I want to die empty, because I would have given it all out to the Lord, to my wife and family, and to whoever else that I come in contact with. You know, I have to tell my wife maybe that. You know, just they just put that on the tombstone. That'll be great.